This is the story of the greatest thing ever accomplished in all of history and laundry. Before Jesus came to the earth, death kind of ran the show. But God had a plan to stop death and save the world. For this plan to work, Jesus would have to die. And our story begins right after this happened, when Jesus was on the cross and life left his body. Back then, when people died, they didn't go into a coffin like today. Instead, they would put them in something called a tomb. This was a big room in the side of a hill, almost like a cave. Inside, there would be a long slab of rock that the body would be laid on, and a huge round stone would cover up the entrance, forever sealing it from the outside. When they took Jesus down from the cross, they wrapped his body in cloth and carried him to a tomb. They laid him down inside and covered his face with a special kind of fabric, a small blanket, almost like a napkin. Now, the story doesn't end here. A little while later, some of Jesus' friends came to visit the tomb, but they didn't expect what they saw. The giant stone had been rolled away, and the entrance to the tomb was wide open. They were shocked, and they ran inside, but what they found surprised them even more. Jesus' body was gone, and the tomb was empty. The only thing inside was the cloth that was wrapped around his body and the fabric that covered his face, folded neatly where his body was. They immediately left the tomb and ran to tell of what they had seen. Jesus is alive! But wait a minute, why was the burial cloth folded like that? This might seem like a small, almost insignificant detail, but it's actually super important. Jesus had just finished God's plan to save the world from sin and death. He kicked the devil's hiney so hard it knocked him into next week, and Jesus was now the reigning heavyweight champion of the universe. This is the greatest thing that's ever been done in history. And right after Jesus does this, what does he do? He folds the laundry. Before he leaves the tomb, he takes the blanket that covered his face, that little cloth napkin, and folds it up neatly. Why is this so important? Because it shows us that Jesus cared about the little things. The details were a big deal to him. He didn't just want to get things done, he made sure they were done right. Even in a burial tomb, he wanted to leave it better than he found it. This is one of the many reasons we follow Jesus. In everything he did, he took the time to do it right.